This is Greg Troutwine with Maritime Reporter TV, and we're very pleased to be joined today by Arlan Cochran, the Team Lead Logistics Engineering and Marine Operations for NASA, to discuss the space agency's marine operations. Arlan, just to start us off, could you provide a brief career and educational background? Specifically, how did you find yourself in the position of Team Lead Logistics Engineering and Marine Operations at NASA?
Sure, Greg. Thanks for having me today. We jumped into this subject was kind of weird for me because I was actually a computer science major and started working in the logistics field in the late 1990s, 2000s for auto industry logistics. And so I was doing a lot of automation for logistics solutions and things of that nature. And we got noticed by a couple of contractors, government contractors in Huntsville. One of them invited us to go down to NASA's manufacturing facility in New Orleans, which I jumped on the opportunity to provide the same solutions for NASA that we're providing in the commercial world. With that, we came up on NASA offered me a chance in 2016 to join their team, which I did. And in 2017, a Barge position opened up in this group. And lo and behold, somebody retired and I became the lead for this group. So it's pretty cool. It's not your normal path, but that's how I got there.
Okay. Well, again, as we discussed, that is very cool indeed. So what specifically does your job entail? In addition, can you provide a size and scope to the team that you lead?
Sure. So our operation is all about the Pegasus barge, primarily that we deal with multiple programs to ship their cargo. So we prepare for that. We have 4 engineers at NASA that handle those different programs. We're lucky that we have 2 superb contractors who also help us. They provide our barge crew, our tug services, and help us stay in compliance with ABS and environmental type policies.
So Arlan, I would contend that when someone says NASA 100 times out of 100 times, that barge operations is not the first thing that comes to mind. Can you give a by the numbers look at NASA's barge operations today?
Sure, Greg. And by the way, NASA has a humongous legacy on barge operations. All the programs, the Apollo program, the shuttle program, and now the Artemis program have all utilized marine transportation and could not do those programs without it, actually. So all the big cargoes have done that. Today, we have our one Pegasus barge that we still utilize. And so that takes care of all the shipments for, like I said, multiple programs, as well as handles the size and big articles that we have to deal with. So it is a big job. Not many people realize it, but in every aspect, we have to have that barge transportation. So really cool in that perspective.
Okay, that's awesome. So Arlan, we understand that the NASA Pegasus barge was recently involved in the moving of the new Space Launch System core. Can you give our viewers some insights on the depth and the breadth of the planning that goes into moving this high value cargo?
Absolutely, Greg. So the core stage has been in design and development for many years now, and the Pegasus barge has been right along with it. So the first thing that had to happen was the Pegasus had to get longer and stronger. So we went out there and we were originally 50 feet short of what was needed for the core stage, but we didn't cut out just 50 feet and add. We cut out 115 feet and came back with 165 feet of restructured steel to be able to handle this large article. This is the largest article that NASA's ever shipped. So in that respect, we had to really do a lot of work. We had to set up platforms to be able to hold it. You've got a lot of loads that you want to keep out of this article. This article, besides just its size and weight, also has the ground support equipment that actually transport it. So you had to handle that weight also for the barge. So many things that went into planning. We got to do a lot of different training exercises. There were structural test articles that got to go up just like the core stage had to be tested. So did the Pegasus. And so we got to input those items onto the barge, carry them up to Marshall, carry them to Kennedy, carry them to Stennis, and go through all the steps just like we would the core stage. So once the core stage was finally constructed, we were able to deliver it real successfully both to Stennis as well as KSC in this recent last month.
All maritime operations entail risk. Yours perhaps a notch or two higher given the high profile and the high value of your cargo. What do you consider to be the best tool in your toolbox to effectively identify, manage, and mitigate the risk of the Pegasus barge operations?
Greg, we're blessed to have a lot of good support groups that help us. I mentioned our 2 contractors are very strong and they're people oriented and they help us determine things that we need to make sure they're successful. But we also have access to the Coast Guard Mother Nature can play a lot of roles as well as people. So the Coast Guard's there to support us when we need different places to get to, if we need security and things of that nature. We also have access to the Air Force and now the Space Force, who handle the weather for us. So Mother Nature, she wins, right? If she decides to send something to you, she's going to win. We make sure that we handle those, mitigate those by saying, okay, we won't go in certain conditions, or we will. And we have a great group in the Air Force there right above Kennedy that helps us monitor that conditions to make sure we're safe when we do travel. Other than that, it's basically protecting that core stage or the article itself. And so even though it blasts off and you think it has loads that we don't want to put into it when we're in transportation, so we're very hard to mitigate those. So we have monitoring devices on the barge to make sure that it's not experiencing any unnecessary loads, which may mean we reduce our speed when waves get a little higher. It also may mean that we take safety if the conditions warrant such a way. We also have different systems in the core stage itself that we have to watch and monitor while we're en route. So we have the contractor train us on how to handle things such as the pressure that's in the two tanks that has to stay consistent, as well as we have a purge cart that we put on most of our systems to control the environment to make sure that we don't have any unnecessary condensation buildup in the articles. So there's many things we do. The best thing we have is our people. And then, it takes a lot of good folks to make sure this works. And our planning, our prep, and our training leads us to what we do, which is successfully deliver the articles for the NASA programs.
Arlan, I truly appreciate your time. Have a great day.
Excellent. You too. Thank you, Greg.